Hi, folks. I'm at a little campsite in Idaho. It's Rainer Bridge or something like that. And it's on a river. I got to get this on here or the wind won't let me do what I need to do. Oh, I'm cooking some pork chorizo. This Rainer Bridge is on the Teton River. And you probably can't see it, but there's big, tall rocks over there. I don't know what it's called, but it's part of the Grand Teton National Park. Those rocks look like they must be 2 miles tall. I don't want to burn my butter. I'm here. Yesterday I was, oh my, it's squirting out. Yeah. Yesterday I was in Cody, Wyoming, or for the last 2 nights I have been east of Cody at a BLM campsite. And that's not Black Lives Matter, that's Bureau of Land Management. It's free. This site is free. In fact, I forget how long I've been gone, maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is Saturday. Not quite 2 weeks. I left on a Tuesday because my wife and I went to Colonial Beach Sunday, came back Monday, and I left on Tuesday. And I've only had to pay for a campsite once since I left. And that was, well, it's going on 2 weeks. I paid $10 for a campsite. It was a little state one. I thought maybe this one would have a fee, but I couldn't find anything. And it's actually got vault toilets, 2 of them, which is kind of nice. I don't mind vault toilets. And these toilets are cool. They've got, the entire inside was painted by, I believe, a local school. And I don't know, junior high school, elementary, I have no idea. But there was a sign in there, and it's sponsored by the local art league. And they painted all these fish and birds. Every surface of the wall is painted. Pretty cool. But I went to, I gotta throw this away because it's messy. Throw my beer can away too. PBR. I went to Yellowstone today. And this morning, when I was getting around, I had a map, and It looked like I was the east entrance is closest to Cody, Wyoming. And from Cody, I saw a sign that, like, to get to Yellowstone was 120, 150 miles, something like that. I don't remember. 2 or 3 hours, because you can't go very fast once you get in the park. That tree really stains a knife. I spit on it to get the stuff off of it, but I will clean it properly. And my version of proper cleaning is a mixture of vinegar and vodka. I figure that'll kill about any kind of germs. I had a lady once tell me that I fixed something, I don't know what it was. She was in the next campsite over, and I shared it with her. And she just didn't want anything to do with it after. Apparently, she's very sensitive to vinegar. But I clean all my dishes with vinegar and vodka after I get them mostly clean. But I looked at my map to go to Yellowstone, and the main place I wanted to go was Old Faithful. And so I plugged it into my phone so I could get on the right roads and all that kind of stuff. It's not too. Yellowstone isn't complicated to get around, not really. As far as the roads, there's a limited number of roads, and you are pretty limited on where you can go. I didn't realize that. And there's no camping unless you're in a designated campsite. And I'm here too early for there to be a campsite open. They're all closed. They'll be open in a few weeks, maybe a week. I don't know. Don't matter. I think they start opening like the 1st of May. But you can only camp on those designated campgrounds. And as I read it, there's a really good chance if you don't just show up. If you just show up, you're hosed. There is one campground that's first come, first serve. But as busy as the park was, even on off season like it is now, I don't know how you could expect to think that you'd spend the night in the campground. And there's no truck camping, no van camping. There's signs that say no about that. Or I read it. Maybe, I don't remember if it was on a sign or on a list of rules or something. Anyway, don't assume that you can go where you think you might want to go. I found that out the hard way. I'm up on this mesa, maybe is what you call it. And I'm putting in my phone that I want to go to Old Faithful. And it says it's going to be almost a 6-hour drive. Well, how can going 120 miles or 150 miles be a 6-hour drive? Well, it's because there's the east, the north, the west, and the south entrance. I was next to the east entrance, and that was where I was planning to go. The east entrance was closed. And I read that there was a geothermal explosion that closed one of the roads. And if you go in the east entrance, that's the road you're on. So I had to go all the way up into Montana and come in the east entrance. It was pushing 300 miles. Well over double the distance. But I made it. It took me longer than what Google Maps said it was going to take. because it's a 2-lane road, and it's kind of a rough road. It's paved, but it's had a lot of traffic, and it's had a lot of winter wear on it. So you don't get in a hurry. Some places, the curves are like 15 miles an hour. When you first start in it, it's like 25 miles an hour when you're coming from the north. But eventually you get up to about 45 miles an hour. And if you're hearing noise, there's some young people over there playing drinking games of some sort. Good for them, whatever. That's PBR, by the way. So I could not go in the east entrance. I had to come around the north entrance. Then I drove down the road until I got to Old Faithful. But I got stuck behind, about 3/4 of a mile, three-quarters of a mile worth of traffic. And I'm sitting back thinking, trying to be charitable about this, thinking, is there a squirrel over there or something that everybody's looking at? Well, no, it turned out it wasn't that. There was a little herd of buffalo walking down the road. And they were on the side of the road. They were taking up the entire lane that I was in. So you had the people that were up in front had to wait until there's a break of traffic and then swing over and pass the buffalo like they were an automobile. So it took extra long time to get there because you weren't going to hurry these buffalo. They were going to go at their own pace. Eventually I got to Old Faithful, and I parked. There's a lot of parking there. Whole lot of parking. There's several buildings. There's a visitor center. There's this big old lodge there. Just stuff. And I found where to go to sit and wait for the geyser. And I was there 20 minutes to half an hour maybe before it went off. And then when I went off, it was time to leave. And I was planning to go to that park right over there because the Grand Teton National Park is just south of Yellowstone. And I don't know if it may be touching Yellowstone. I really don't know. I was planning on coming out of the south entrance and going straight into the park. And then I'd found a free site on the other side of the park from here, on the east side. But because I lost so much time going around to the north entrance, it wasn't an option. So I came out the west entrance. Only the north and the west entrances were open. So when I came out of the park, I came out the west entrance, and that put me in Idaho. Well, I hadn't planned on going to Idaho, but whatever. And I found this campsite using the Dirt app. And it's a nice campsite. It's very nice. I'm satisfied. And I plugged into my phone that I want to go to I think it's the southern entrance of the Grand Teton National Park. And it's only about an hour from here. So I'm a happy camper. But you kind of got to roll with it, I haven't made any reservations whatsoever on this trip. And I don't plan to. Well, now the chorizo went in, at least part of it looking like sausage, and now it looks like chili. Whatever. I'm going to have a taco with it. I may add it to my eggs in the morning, too. Probably will. Depends whether it's any good. I don't know. Not all chorizo is good. But anyway, I'm still traveling, and I'm enjoying it. I like only having the very rudimentary type of plan for this, because that means I get interruptions or I get sidetracked and find a cool place or whatever. I didn't have to be at such and such campground on such and such date. And I think if I'd have come later in the year, that would have been the case. Because to get into Yellowstone National Park, you might need to have a reservation to even drive through it. And I think most of the time you do. But since it's off season, that it wasn't a problem for me. So I've got some tortillas. But I lost my pot holder. That's a cast iron skillet, a little bitty cast iron skillet. Works great. Anyway, it's 5 o'clock. That's the important thing. And I got it. I'm going to have to turn this off and go find my pot holder because this chorizo is starting to stick. Anyway, that's where I'm at.